gonna talk about my hair, okay? I'm having a bad hair day. It's time to wash. So, hello everybody. Most High God, please block anybody trying to interfere with this. What you brought me here to do today. Do step in and deliver your messages to we, your children. So, today we're going to read the Bible, specifically the book of Ezekiel. So if y'all are in the position to get your Bible, or you can pull it up on another device, the book of Ezekiel. I know when I'm reading from this, it's gonna vary slightly, so we could just follow along as best as we can. Now, it's called the book of the prophet Ezekiel. So this message here that I'm about to deliver today is for those of us who have been called to be a prophet of the Most High God, and to those who we are supposed to deliver messages to. Okay? Now, I'm a Rastafarian, and as a Rasta, my Godhead, there are four who make up my Godhead. Okay? And it doesn't make my belief more right or less right than yours. Okay? But I'm going to explain to you how I came about this. So there's this place that I go to just to sit with my Godhead. My Godhead consists of Emperor Haile Selassie the first, okay, and his wife, Empress Menen, okay, Marcus Messiah Garvey, the Honorable, and Prince Charles, Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the original Prince Charles, aka Priest Emmanuel from Bubble Hill, Jamaica, right? That's my Godhead. So there's this place that I visit telepathically to sit with my God. And one day I was feeling a little bit down, and I imagined them like on this throne, like the four of them, each having their seat on this elevated place, right? So I sat down on the step in front of Empress Menen and Emperor Haile Selassie. And when I was there, just out the blue, hang on, out the blue, Empress Menen did this to me. And it was a like thick like this, but it was pure iron. It didn't hurt. I was like, bro. So then eventually it morphed into this book. But first it showed up as just a thick slab of iron. And then it just morphed into this book. So I was like, okay. So then I started doing research. And eventually it led me to, because I was looking into the subject of Israel, I think. Yeah. And I eventually landed on Ezekiel 11:17. And then when I read that, let me see what it is again to refresh my mind. 11:17. It's a therefore say, thus says the Lord God, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. Okay? So when I saw that, I was like, who is God talking to? And while we're on the subject of Israel, I want y'all to know that I don't know who or what Israel is, but the way that life has been playing out, I know that the people of God are the people of that which is real. Is real. Whatever is real, the truth. The people who live by truth, the people who seek truth, the people who share truth is real. What is real and what is not. Israel is the actual people of God. Israel, I don't know what that is. So let's read that again and say Israel instead of Israel. So basically what I've gathered is if we are to look at the land that they call Israel right now, we would be thinking that that is our place, but that don't have to be the place that God is going to take those who choose to believe in and serve and seek God. Our place is there somewhere, but it won't be a place where there is corruption and confusion. We don't have to fight for what is ours. So wherever this land is that God is going to gather us all from, to take us to, wherever this land is that God is going to take us all from and take us to, that is the land of Israel, not Israel. It's going to be people there who believe in what is real, R-E-A-L, that which is real, that which is the truth. We don't do deception and corruption and disobedience of God there. So there's Israel and there is Israel. So I-S-R-E-A-L, Israel. And Israel is what they put in this King James Version. I don't know anything about that place. Let them fight for what they're fighting for. They know what they're about. I don't know anything about that. That's my personal opinion. Right. So when I got to that part and I saw that God is going to, let's say, it says, therefore say, thus says the Lord, I will even gather you from the people, talking to all those who are real, all those who believe in truth. Real, not Ra'el, real. Okay? I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered. And I will give you the land of Israel. So I don't think that we know where this land is. So my suggestion is to any of you who believe that this land of Israel is what is our inheritance, you should take that out your mind right now and leave the people them with Israel. Because God has been known to take people to lands that look barren and show them the fruitfulness that emerges when God is present. So for all we know, our spot could be in a desert somewhere. But God say it's going to gather all of us. Now, what does that look like? We come in all shapes, all colors, all ages. This is not about black or white or rich or poor or any of that. It's about God seekers, God followers, God lovers. Those of us who want to know the laws of God and uphold the laws of God because we see the reason why these laws were set. And we love it. We are the children of Israel. We are not the children of Israel. I hope that's clear to you. So God's going to take us to our own land when the time is right. And that could even be a psychological thing at first. But then, because I had so many questions, that's why I had to go back to the beginning of this chapter. Because this was Ezekiel 11:17. So that's what pushed me back to Ezekiel 1. Like, how did all this start? What is God talking about? Who is God talking to? Okay. So now that I've given you the introduction as to how I got here, this is for all those of us who are true God seekers, who God truly communicate with and give us messages to share with the public, with the masses, so that God's children can hear these messages and take heed. Those who don't take heed, they are not our business. We are not talking to them. Those who doubt us, they are not our business. We did not come here to talk to them. God didn't give us any messages to give to them. If they reject God, that's on them. We are here to open our mouth and speak the truth so that those who are seeking God can have a chance. So let's read chapter 1. Ezekiel, it says, I'm reading from this here Bible. It says the Expositor's Study Bible. They got a whole bunch of writing in red. I don't pay attention to any of that because I feel like I don't want to have anybody else's interpretation of the message. So I only read the parts that are in black. I will make my own deduction from what God tells me, how God put it in my understanding, okay? Because by taking other people's meaning of things, that's how we end up going around and around in circles. Because if this person got it wrong in any way, and we take that on as our truth, we will also be going around and around in circles, not knowing the truth, not knowing what is real. So the Bible, for those of you who like to reject these, well, I don't know about any other holy book. I've never read any other holy book but the Bible. Well, some of it, okay? The Bible is like a bunch of experiences documented by our elders, those who have experienced God, those who have walked with God, okay, those who have had an encounter with the living God, of the God of creation, the God of gods. Okay, that's what the Bible is. So my suggestion is for you to see it as our elders speaking to us as you read through. It's our elders telling us of their experience with God. And if you're a person who is walking with God like I am, you have your own gospel too. Your book is being written as you live. So what you're witnessing right now is the book of Chanel being written, or the gospel of Chanel being written. This is my testimony. This is my walk with God. This is how I experienced God. So all of us who have consciously made the decision to walk with God, we have our own place in a book like this. Okay, we have a testimony. We have stories of things we have experienced and things that we have learned that we cannot unlearn or unsee in our walk with God. We have reason. We have reason to accept the realness of God and the movements of God in our life and around us. Okay? We can't deny God. We've seen and experienced too much. That is our testimony. That is the book according to whatever your name is. Insert your name. The gospel of Chanel. The gospel of whatever your name is. That's your experience with God. That's all the Bible is. It's a whole book full of people testifying about their walk and experience with God. So when you read it, see it as an elder telling you. Don't see it as no holy Bible, like they call it, because we need to watch out for the pitfalls, because this book has been corrupted. The message has been corrupted. They say you shouldn't add anything to it or take away anything from it, and they have. Because according to stories I've heard, the Ethiopian Orthodox Christian Church, they have 88 books in their Bible. And everybody know about the book of Enoch, which is not in the King James Version. I think this is based on the King James Version, yeah. So we know that there's a lot of messages that our elders left us that are missing. Okay, so they gave us some of the information and they hid some of it from us. All right, so let's start now. This here, I wanted to read from part 1, because when I read chapter 1, I was like, what? You'll know why in a minute. Listen. So we got chapter 1, the book of the prophet Ezekiel, right? Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month. I don't know when that is, and I'm not going to dwell on that. As I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, I don't know how to say this word, but I'm going to call it Chebar. It's a place. That the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. The heavens were opened, and he saw visions of God. Is he talking telepathically? Like, did it happen in his vision? Like, in his mind? Did God appear to him in his mind, or did the actual heavens, like the physical heavens, open up? I don't know. I feel like it appeared to him in his mind. It says the heavens were opened. So what is the heavens? Okay. But anyway, let's read on. So the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. Verse 2. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chebar, and the hand of the Lord was there upon him. So let me go back to verse 2. In the 5th day of the month, up here it says the 4th, it says the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of this king's captivity. Okay, so it's the same day. Okay. The word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest. So Ezekiel was a priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chebar, the land of the Chaldeans. That's important too. But anyway, we're not going to know everything. We're just going to take what we can actually manage to understand from the text, okay? In the future, we'll know more. And the hand of the Lord was there upon him. So this is all on the same day, okay? Verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself. Fire enfolding itself. What does that look like? Let's continue. And a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber. Amber is yellow. Out of the midst of the fire. So, and I, reading it again. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself. And a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Verse 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So 4 living creatures, and they had the appearance or the likeness of a man, but he called them creatures. Let's read on and you'll hear why. And every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. So there were 4 creatures. They looked like a man, but they each had 4 faces and 4 wings. Just envision that for a moment. This is what Ezekiel was seeing. This is how God appeared to Ezekiel. Let's read on. That's not God yet. But these creatures showed up with God. They're going to show you where God entered. Watch. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. So they got, so the sole of the feet. So their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. So their feet were basically hard, because a calf's foot, I think that they're quite solid. Let's read on. And they had the hands of a man under their wings. So they got wings and they have hands. On their 4 sides. Let me read that again. Verse 8. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides. And they 4 had their faces and their wings. What does it mean by they had the hands of man under their wings on their four sides? Because, okay, you got four wings and you got hands, but it says on their four sides. See, that's another something to look into, but we're not going to do that right now. I'm saying this and I'm reading it slowly so that y'all can see what the Bible is talking about. Suppose we were to see something like this today. Whether the heavens actually open up, like the physical heavens, and you see that, or you see that in a vision, because while you're awake, not even in a dream, in a vision while you're awake, you're just chilling and that appears to you in your mind's eye. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Their wings were joined to one another, and they turned not when they went. They went, everyone straight forward. So these creatures do not turn around because they have four faces. So if they want to walk backwards, they just walk backwards. They don't have to turn around because they can see where they're going. If they want to walk to the side, they walk to the side. So they were skillful in, you know, when you go to football practice and they give you that challenge to do where you jump from side to side and you kind of go down the line. They could do that expertly. Backwards, expert. Forward, expert. So they don't have to turn at all. That's what I'm getting from that. Verse 10. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side, and they four also had the face of an eagle. We've never seen anything like that on none of the Egyptian hieroglyphs, have we? And we thought seeing the human bodies with the dog heads and the eagle heads was a what kind of moment. This says one, the face of a man. I'm guessing that's the front one. Then to the right, they have the face of a lion. Then to the left, they have the face of an ox. And then a face of an eagle, most likely in the back. These are the creatures that rolled up with God. That's not God yet. These are God charges, as the Jamaicans would say. Them are God brethren. God's guards. Why would God show up like this to Ezekiel? What does that mean? And the heavens, what is the heavens? Is it just a psychological thing or was it actually a physical experience? It's a great book. Okay, so you got verse 11. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. Two wings of every one were joined one to another, and two covered their bodies. So it's like they didn't even have on clothes. So two of the wings just kind of wrapped around them like this. And two of the wings were like free. Interesting. Anyway, let's continue. And they went everyone straight forward, whither the Spirit was to go. So God was guiding them. Whither the Spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. Because they got four faces. I don't need to turn around. So it says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, it went up and down among the living creatures. What it? Let's go back to the beginning of verse 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures. Among the living creatures. And the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. So this is talking about something else now. So what is this it that went up and down among the living creatures? We're not going to get hung up on that. Let's go to the next verse. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So they were fast too. So it's like there were these living creatures that had 4 faces and 4 wings. But there's this other thing they said, it went up and down among the living creatures. What is this it that they're talking about? We didn't hear anything about another it anywhere. But anyhow, we're going to read on. So, yeah, they were very fast. So now, so when they move, it's like, so now, as I behold the living creatures, behold one wheel. Behold one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. Okay, what? Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. Let's read on. Hopefully it makes more sense soon. The appearance of the wheels. Okay, so the wheels. So is the wheels the it that they were talking about up here? Okay, so let's see. Verse 15 again. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. So that like with the 4 faces. It says the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. I don't know what color beryl is. Y'all want me to do the dictionary thing? We should. Beryl is a mineral composed of beryllium, aluminum silicate. Looks kind of like that. Okay, so it's like a gemstone. Okay, so the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. So it was that kind of greenish looking color there. They 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. A wheel in the middle of a wheel. I think I've seen rims like that. The only thing I can imagine close to that is like, you know, you got some rims and then inside there's like another spinning wheel. So I guess it's something like that. So I'm guessing this is like the vehicle that the creatures were traveling on. Don't quote me on that. But let's continue. Verse 17. When they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. What do you mean by they went up on their four sides? What went on their four sides? Let's continue. Verse 18. As for the rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, scary. And their rings were full of eyes round about them four. So these are the wheel things that they're talking about. When they went upon their four sides. A wheel doesn't have four sides. A wheel within a wheel. That's a mathematical equation I'm not going to get into right now. But I'm reading this chapter from the beginning so y'all can see what Ezekiel saw when God showed up. And God hasn't showed up yet, you know. This is just how, this is God's entourage. Okay? When it appeared to Ezekiel. When God appeared to you or me, God come in different. But this is how God chose to show up before Ezekiel. Okay? So, this is Ezekiel's testimony. Okay, now we got, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Okay, so it come in like this. This is their vehicle. So it's like some kind of like a spaceship, like but it, yeah, it's like a kind of, we would call it a UFO, unidentified flying object, something like that. So this was basically their chariot, their car, their wheels. Okay. Of the four creatures. Let's read on. It says, whithersoever the spirit was to go, because it's still talking about the spirit, but it's like God is moving them like telepathically. Okay, let's read on. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went thither. That means there. Okay, wait. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. So they became one with basically their car. So these creatures controlled their vehicle, their car, with their spirit, their mind. Okay. When those went, these went. So when the creatures went, the wheels went with them. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. So the wheels were lifted up over against them. What does that mean? For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Yeah, the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels controlling. But what does it mean? The wheels were lifted over against them. I don't know. Next. So, verse 22. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. So that would be the beryl, the beryllium. And the likeness, let me read it again, verse 22. And the likeness of the firmament, so that would be like the hood, not the hood. In a car, you would call that the roof. Okay, the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. So it's like, okay, so basically it sounds like they're saying like these creatures were actually inside the wheels and they control the wheels with I just heard a ringing in my left ear. And everybody, when you get a ringing in your ear, it don't mean the same for everybody. So you have to know what yours mean, right? I haven't figured out what mine mean yet. But after I said that, I heard a little you know, like one of them triangles and you hit it. Yeah, that's what I heard. Anyway. So it's like they were inside. So it's like you're inside this craft. So their craft that they travel on look like wheels. Well, they describe them as wheels with eyes all over. So they could see in every direction. And I'm guessing inside these creatures were eventually, because Ezekiel saw the creatures themselves. So there, at one point, the creatures were outside and the wheels were just there by themselves. And then I guess the creatures joined back or went back into their wheels, which they control with their mind. So they just have to think where they want to go. And like lightning, they're taken there. This is God's entourage, bro. All y'all walking around with y'all bag of man around, I ain't ready yet. Okay? This is the entourage of entourages. Okay? Y'all don't pull up like this. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, okay. 23. And under the firmament were their wings straight, and one toward the other. Every one had two which covered on his side, and every one had two which covered on that side their bodies. Well, they keep talking about two of the wings being kind of up or like free to do whatever, I guess, and then or carry them, and then two wings cover their bodies. They keep talking about these wings that cover their bodies. So this is like angels, okay? And imagine if you were to see that, 4 faces. Would you believe it's an angel? We would probably try to, you know, the first thing we would do if we see a creature like that appear to us is probably try to take it out. Probably try to capture it. Oh. Fuck around and find out. Okay, so we got 24. It says, and when they went, I heard the noise of their wings like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech. Interesting. As the noise of an host. When they stood, they let down their wings. 25. And there was a voice from the firmament. This is the part where God comes in now. So there was a voice from the firmament. So remember, these 4 creatures, they're inside their own vehicle. Let's call it that. Okay. And the firmament is made out of this beryllium. Okay. This green looking gem, green crystal. Okay. So it says, and there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and had let down their wings. So this is the voice of God coming in now. 26. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. What color is sapphire? I think that's red. But I don't want to think. I want to know. Oh, it's blue. You see, this is why. Sapphire color. I've always thought sapphire was blue, but it was red. Sapphire is blue. While famously a deep velvety blue, sapphire, a form of corundum, occurs in a wide range of fancy colors caused by trace elements. So it's originally blue. I thought sapphire was red, bruv. See? When I read it, I envisioned red. Sapphire is not red, it's blue. So it's like the aquamarine, and then above the aquamarine, aka the green crystal, there's a blue now. Okay, let's see. 26. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. So it was blue and shiny. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. So that is God. Okay. 27. And I saw as the color of amber. That's that. Let's make sure amber is yellow. It's a great book, bruv. We're missing out. A warm, radiant color situated between yellow and orange. Okay. Right. So let's see. So it says 27. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins, even upward, and from the appearance of his loins, even downward. I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. What I got just now was the aura. That's the download that God sent to me. Like, it was God's aura. So it's like it came from here, because your loins is your root chakra, your genitals. It come from here and over, just yellow, that amber color, that yellow, and from here downward also. So God was just encircled in a light of the amber color. And God was sitting, it said, above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne. So above the firmament. So these creatures are inside their vehicle, and then above that vehicle, God's throne appeared, and God was sitting on the throne and just covered in that yellow from head to toe. There was that yellow light all around. Okay. So it says, I saw it, the ending of 27. I saw it as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. 28 now. As the appearance of the bow or bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. As the appearance of the bow, I don't know what that is. Let's read on. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one who spoke. So before God even showed itself, Ezekiel saw all these, I would say, abnormal things, because Ezekiel took great care in describing the appearance of these quote unquote creatures. Okay? So it's like God sent these creatures before it appeared. Or did it? Because I mean, you can only explain one thing at a time. But anyhow, that's what Ezekiel saw. Ezekiel saw these wheels that have eyes all about, and there was these creatures that could go in and out of them, and they could control these wheels with their mind, and it was covered with like a green crystal, okay, on the top, and over that we had God sitting on its throne. So where exactly was God? Was God sitting like on top of the firmament of their vehicle? Because they call it the firmament, that's like a roof. So was God sitting on top of the roof, or was it like off up in the air or in the atmosphere that God just appeared in the clouds sitting on his throne? And we're not going to go into all this talk about God being male or female or whatever. Let's just read the story according to Ezekiel's testimony, because as I explained to you, the God that I believe in is a physical person. It manifested as a physical person, obviously, to teach us how we should be as humans, because that's the reason why Emmanuel, aka manifested as a human being, is because for God to show us that we could be great too. So God basically took off its godhood, so to speak. God eliminated all its magical, well, it's okay, God is God, right? But God reduced himself to being one of us, being like one of us through the character we know as Jesus, aka the original name is Emmanuel. Okay, so God reduced himself to a mere man in the form of Emmanuel, Emperor Haile Selassie, Empress Menen, and Marcus the Messiah Garvey, aka the prophet, so that God can teach us about how we can attain, in our human form, attain those heights of greatness. Because we are living this real experience. Emperor Haile Selassie, he was a man involved in governance, government, and his wife at his side. Marcus the Messiah Garvey, he was the forerunner. He came out before the rest of them so that he can introduce the the prince or priest Emmanuel Charles Edwards to the world, like it said in the Bible, where the prophet John said that there's someone to come after me that I am not even worthy to loose the strap of his sandals. That's Marcus talking about Emmanuel, the prince, the priest, the high priest. So Marcus Garvey is the prophet, Emmanuel is the priest or the prince, and we know that Emperor Haile Selassie was the king. And Empress Menen naturally is the queen. Queen Elizabeth bowed to Emperor Haile Selassie. In the book, it says 72 nations bowed and crowned this man King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Emperor Haile Selassie manifested that in real life. So this book is in this book. And in Psalm somewhere it says, behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia, this man was born there. In the same book, the Holy Bible, it speaks of Emperor Haile Selassie, it speaks of Marcus Messiah Garvey, it speaks of Emmanuel. Emmanuel manifested in Jamaica. Marcus Garvey manifested in Jamaica. So all these fancy names that they're giving these places in this book, in our time, in our day, in this reality that we know, it happened in Jamaica. Emperor Haile Selassie manifested in Ethiopia. In this day, in this time, they still call it Ethiopia in the book, but wherever they claim John, the prophet John was, and wherever he baptized Emmanuel and all of that, that is speaking of Jamaica, because in reality, these characters manifested in Jamaica land. So no matter the pretty name or the strange name that they want to call it in this book, we know in our time it happened in a Jamaica. That's why I don't get caught up on the names of these places, because these people who know the truth, they like to shift things around to confuse us. But I'm not on that bullshit. Okay? So God had to manifest as a mere man and as a mere woman at some point to prove to us that we can do it too. So we looked at Emperor Haile Selassie, most of us, like, it's just a man. We looked at Emmanuel Charles Edwards, it's just a man. We looked at Marcus Garvey, it's just a man. But look at what these people accomplished. That's what God wants us to be. That's what God wants us to do. In a real life, we can accomplish these things too. We can be used and guided by the Most High to carry on the work. So Jesus had to manifest as a man, a simple man, be born as a baby, be dependent on somebody else for everything. And that's why Mary was chosen, because Mary, whoever she was found worthy. Why? Because of her characteristics. God said, I can trust you with me. Because you see Jesus, you see God. They are the same. Yet, they are not. They're the same in spirit. And we are the same in spirit. We are just versions. Each one of us is a version. Each one of us is just a version of that one spirit, the universal spirit. I hope I haven't, well, if I've lost you, this message ain't for you. There is no separation of us. That's why we're all connected telepathically. There are invisible lines that connect all of us and everything. That's the real matrix. That's the divine matrix. God in all of us and in everything. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm not talking to you at this point. We are all versions of God in development. That's why we talk about what is in our consciousness and what is in our subconsciousness. Our subconsciousness is full of the knowledge of everything. Our consciousness is what we live from. It's what we manage to pull out of the files of our subconscious. As a man or woman thinketh, so is he or she. What you spend your time thinking and researching, that you will be, that you know. That is as far as your capabilities go. But you have it all in you if you would just search, seek. All the answers are there because God is within. That's what Emmanuel means, God with us. And each particle that make up anything and everything, it is the God particle. There's nothing that exists without God in it. So even the sapphire is a version of God. The beryl, a version of God. These creatures are a version of God. And God itself is a version of God, but it's God in its entirety. Everything else is just a fragment. Everything and everyone else is just a fragment of God. And that's why we need to unite. Our power is when we truly unite. We could be powerful by ourselves. Like, who was it? Neo said, I'm a movement by myself, but we are force when we are together. I'm good all by myself, but you make me better. So this is just what Ezekiel saw. And the last chapter, in chapter 1, it says, let's just finish that one and then that's it for today. And we're gonna come back and do the next part because this message that's in this book of Ezekiel here, it's important for all the prophets and prophetesses out there. You need to know. Because there's a part in here where God sent Ezekiel to deliver a message to the children who are at the river Chebar or whatever they call it. And God was like, you need to go and deliver this message because if you don't deliver this message to these people, then you are being held accountable for whatever goes wrong. But if you deliver the message to them and they choose to ignore you, then it's not on your hands because you did what you were supposed to do. But anyhow, I send you to deliver a message and you don't go, or you don't deliver this message, or you don't deliver it right, I'm adding that deliver it right in there. It's on you. And you gonna have to pay for it. Because you're leaving these people in darkness. But if you deliver the message and they choose to ignore it, then they choose to keep themselves in darkness. And that's their business. That's on them. So if you know you've been called to be a prophet or a prophetess of the Most High, this message has everything to do with you. So the question is, how did God appear to you? Has God appeared to you yet? How did God appear to me? It depends on what point of my journey we're talking about, to be honest. Oh yeah, the last sentence, it was saying, as the appearance of the bow, I don't know what the hell a bow is, that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one capital O-N-E, who spoke. No, I did read it already. So yeah, that was the end of the reading for today anyway. My introduction to God, I feel like it didn't start this lifetime, because when I was very young, I believed in God. So I believe that I accepted I believe that God appeared to me or approached me in my past life. And those of you who hear me speak, y'all know that I believe that I am Nefertiti, or I was Nefertiti in my past life. I have my birthmark here on my TT. When I look at it from up here, it looks like the Nefertiti bust that the world knows so well. But if you're looking on at me, you have to turn it around, like upside down. But when I look at it, I recognize the Nefertiti bust. When you look at it, it's gonna look like whatever it looked like to you. Because you're seeing it upside down. I'm seeing it because it's all about me. So God put it in a way that I can see it clearly. And there's something missing from the Nefertiti bust that they put all around, because I have it here and I am the original. So there's something on the crown of the Nefertiti bust that's not on any of the images that I've seen or the sculptures and that, but I have it here. It's on the crown. But anyway, so I believe that my journey with God didn't, because if you know the story of Nefertiti, they say that she had every intention to go away and build like the city of God. That was why she left Egypt in the first place, is because of the false teachings, and she wanted to um she wanted to basically serve God the right way. So she left that civilization and went to basically start her own, because she didn't like the people, how the people in power were handling society from a spiritual perspective, especially because she wanted to go start her own city of God. Okay, so it's like, y'all don't know how to praise God, I'm gonna show y'all how to praise God. And this is also my ambition this lifetime, to have a city of God, because we need our own spot, bruv. We don't need to be around. Well, even God agrees, because God spoke about the land that I will bring you all, the land of Israel. So all of us who seek truth and respect truth, no matter what it is, all of us who love God and respect God and want to get to know God better, we deserve our own spot where we can be unbothered. So we can manifest the life that we would actually manifest if we were not troubled by all this corruption and all this hate and all this irresponsibility and just all this evil, all this godlessness and all this abomination and this love for breaking the law and this happiness to just tear down God's character and confuse people who seek God. We don't need to be around all that energy, bruv. We need somewhere where we can grow without that. I believe so. You believe so, most likely. And God says, look, I'm going to gather all of you who want that from wherever the fuck you're scattered all over this earth. And I'm going to take y'all to a place. And I wish somebody would try come over there and fuck with y'all, because they're going to fuck around and find out. This is not Babylon, where we're going to, where God called the land of Israel. That's not Babylon. We don't respect Babylonian living and Babylonian principles. We respect God. We want to see what God gift is all about. We're not looking for perfection, but we know that things could be so much better. And we want a slice of the little heaven here on earth while we're alive. We want to experience God's goodness, that quote unquote milk and honey, that we want to experience all the freakiness, like fucking creatures with 4 wings and 4 faces, and let us be. Stay out of our faces and stop feeding us your lies and stop covering up what God wants to reveal to us. Get out of our way. We need our own city of God. The heathens are gonna want to come, because our thing is gonna be better than theirs, infinitely so. They're gonna want to come too. And no, you can't sit with us, because you don't know how to behave yourself. You want to be God. You don't have no respect for the one who created all this, and then God is trying to show us stuff. God is trying to show us some incredible stuff, and y'all just keep fucking around and fucking it up for all of us. We don't appreciate that. So we're going to go to our own spot where we going to love gathering with each other and talking about what the fucking incredible things we experienced and witnessed and the knowledge that just came to us. And we going to be the light. We already are, but shit, we ain't even start shining yet. Just imagine what our lives could be without all that negativity being poured into it. All the fucking dirty water and the polluted air and the whatever kind of food they're feeding us. And come on. What? We don't want to stay in Babylon. We don't like Babylon. We don't like Babylon. And Babylon don't like us. And that's all right. That's why we're going to go to our own place. God's going to give us our own place. The land of Israel, not Israel. The land of Israel. Over here is where the real fucking people live. Okay? The people who know truth, love truth, respect truth, live truth, manifest truth. Y'all think you're magicians? You ain't seen magician yet until you start getting real with yourself. Fuck you know about magic. Eh? These creatures, they don't visit you. Because they look like that. And you would think, oh, they must be evil. God won't be rolling with no evil creatures. If they're evil, it's justified. When they get dark, is because it's justified. You earned that shit. It's not about what you look, excuse me, it's not about what you look like on the outside. A lot of these people, they look all fancy like us on the outside, and inside they look weird like that. But they're evil because they misuse their power. That is evil. To misuse your power is evil. To deliberately, I should say, misuse your power, that is evil. To deliberately misuse your ability, that is evil. To deliberately misuse your position, that is evil. If somebody mess with you and you fuck them up, that's not evil. That's self-defense. That's defense. That's not offense. There's a difference. The reasoning and the intention behind actions and choices, it matters tremendously. It's the difference between life and death. In a land where justice reigns, we don't just look at your actions, we look at why you did what you did. That will determine whether you live or you die. And that's like, I'm seeing the image of the scale weighing the heart against a feather. All these things from Egypt, all these teachings from Egyptian times, they were onto something. They were connected to the divine, and then somehow they fell off. They fell away from the divine and wanted to be the divine. They wanted to be praised. They wanted to be glorified. And God just turned its back on them. And anybody who don't want to get fucked up, y'all need to turn your back on. God said, be in the world and not of it. God said, if you don't want none of this fire, stay away. Don't get involved. If you don't want to be punished with them, do not roll with them. This is just the beginning of our journey. We got a lot of great times ahead. Challenges, but we're going to have like minds around us that will help us to figure it all out. Okay? We're about to create the new world. That's what we're doing right now as we speak. We're creating the new world order. I always say every house should have a Bible in it. If you can have several, have several. But you need to have, we need to stop relying on these, because all they need to do is turn off the electricity or turn off the internet and we lose everything. All your notes, you need to start to get real books again and writing real books. You need books, you need a Bible, and you need a dictionary. The older, the better. Or I should say, the older, the more accurate. Every house should have a Bible, dictionary, and books in there so you can make notes. If you want to keep notes in your phone, fine, but you're going to have to copy them out twice because you need to write them in your book too. Or else if you ever lose your phone, or there's no electricity to charge your phone, or there's no internet, all your work is gone. All your information is gone. Right now, if they were to turn this shit off, none of y'all got no music that you can listen to. No movies you can watch. And then y'all are relying on AI to use its creative juices for you. So soon a lot of y'all are gonna be talentless too. And unintelligent too, because you're not using your mind anymore. Everything you go to ChatGPT and you go to some kind of AI generated something. You don't even write your stories yourself anymore. You're not using your own creativity and your mental power. You're allowing the computer to do it for you. That's gonna make you lose your levels, lose your degrees that you've already gained. If you don't use it, you will lose it. Do not get caught up in this or anything quote unquote modern. Your foundation is what is real. You need to know how to light a wood fire. If there was no electric stove that was working, if there was no gas stove that was working, can you cook food for your family? All these foundational principles, can you survive in like out in the bush, away from all of these quote unquote pleasures that we've come to get used to? We need to know our basics. We need to relearn the plants necessary to heal us, how to use nature itself for our healing. As standard, whether all this is still around or not. They can't do it better than nature and they don't like us. So if you want medicine, oh, they're going to give you their medicine, but just know that they're going to make some other things go wonky within you, that you're going to need some other medicines because it's a business for them. When God heal you, you're healed. When they quote unquote heal you, yeah, you're going to heal that part temporarily, but they're going to fuck up some other shit. We need to get back to what is real. We are what is real. This is the first computer. God is the original Google. And there's no virtual glasses that you can put on to compete with actually going outside in nature. Actually going to a beach. Actually going outside and sitting in some grass. Actually walking up a mountainside. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't let them fool you. Or don't let them keep on fooling you. If you've been fooled, pull yourself back. Yes, we love all these conveniences. Yes, we're going to indulge, but we're not going to forget our roots. Because if we didn't have all these things, we would still need to survive. How did the people survive before there was all these things? That is our roots. And it don't matter what color you are, what religion you are, how rich you are, we are the children of Israel. Not the children of Israel. We are the children of Israel. What is real? What is true? What is undisputable? And that's why we cannot be conquered. How are you going to conquer truth? You may be able to fool some of the people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And it's only a matter of time before truth always comes to the surface. It's always only a matter of time before truth comes to the surface, because the mathematics of life, it always leads to the truth. Because when you're living life and you're dealing with a circumstance and you realize things aren't adding up, it's like something isn't right here. You see? So God is the way, the truth. I still don't know if they say light or life. We're about to find out once and for all. God is the way, truth, Is both of them there. God is the way. The Bible verse. Okay. I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6. The life. Life. So God says, I am the life. I am the way. Oh, you have to dig into that because that's a very powerful statement. Let's see, it says John 14:6. We're gonna look into that, then I'm gonna come off. I'm gonna end this John 14. I need to have breakfast. Huh. I see something here said John 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, when I see shit like that, it make me want to look. But John 14:6. I'll look another time. John 14:6. Okay. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes unto the Father but by me. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. Okay, now I see why he said that. See, this is why I say God had to take on mere human flesh to show us the way, the truth, and the life. God couldn't teach us how to go up, how to ascend spiritually if it didn't manifest in the flesh as a human being like we did. So that's why God came as a baby, because only God can teach us how to be like God. Is it? I am the way, the truth, and the life. That part is deep. I am the life. I am the life. I agree. But you see, the problem comes in because a lot of us don't know what God approve of or disapprove of. So we end up living life by other people's understanding of what God thinks is a sin and what God thinks is permissible. So we listen to what the pastors say. We listen to what our grandparents say. We learn God through them and never actually living and experience God ourselves. So we live through their experience. We live by their rules. We live by their beliefs when God wants to have a personal relationship with us to show us, yo, them tiny boxes that these people created for you, I didn't tell them that is how I want you to live, okay? So people would hear me say things like, I would do a porn video with my husband and put it out, and somebody would think, oh, that surely is a sin. Is it? Or is it educational? It's the intention. The only thing that is out in the world right now is all these ungodly people teaching people about sex. So who gonna teach the godly people about good sex? Who gonna teach the people about good, actually godly sex, godlike sex? Could you imagine what godlike sex look like? Only people who are godlike can have godlike sex. You understand? So if people who serve God never put themselves out there for the world to see, how's the world gonna see? How's the world gonna know? You see, this holier than thou attitude, that's what's keeping us down, because we holding everything to ourselves. But God didn't come, Jesus didn't come and walk amongst man, or Emmanuel didn't come and walk amongst man to keep everything to itself. Emmanuel was teaching. Jesus was teaching, even though he was being hated and misunderstood for it. He still delivered the messages. It's like y'all don't want to hear it, but it doesn't make it untrue. It goes against what y'all have been taught, what you have come to believe, but it doesn't make what I'm saying to you untrue, because I am the way, the truth, and the life. And me, I've made it my business to have a personal relationship with God. So somebody might see me in my little short shorts and say, oh, that's not a woman of God. Says who? How are these people to know that righteous women are sexy too? Who doesn't want a sexy woman? It don't matter how righteous you are. That's why so many people, so many men who have their wives who call themselves men of God, they lust after the other women who aren't afraid to show what God gave them. Because when they look at what they got, it's like they don't take care of themselves and make themselves look as appealing as quote unquote women of the world. So it's like, what do these God people have that's gonna make me want to join them? They're always covered up. They're always the little box. Who wants to live like that? That's why people are not drawn to righteousness and godhood and godliness, is because we who live it don't really understand it. So we're not really living it. We're living according to other people's understanding of God. We're afraid to express who we truly are. I stopped dancing because I thought that it was an abomination. And you know what happened? I got sick and I had to wind my ass. I had to walk up to help my body to balance itself again. And I will never give up dancing again. It's not what you do, but how and why and when and where and with who. I gave up high heel shoes because I thought it was an abomination. I gave up dressing sexy because, well, I was never a sleazy dresser. I have my limits, right? But I gave up all of that because I thought that to live for God, you have to look like a nun. And I was willing to do that. If that's what it takes, I was willing to do that. And then life just gave me the experiences I need and the logic that I needed. Because when I see all these rappers and whatnot, they're pulling our children because they look cool, they look sexy, they're vibrant, they're lively, but the teachings are leading our children and everybody else who are attracted to their packaging to hell, a hellish existence. It's horrible teachings. So what if I can show my sexy, lively, vibrant attractiveness and then lead the children to God? Because that's who I am at my core. There are limits. But the limits that we put on ourselves as God seekers, God believers, those limits are too much. We're doing too much. The boxes are way too small. God never told us that. So if I decide to come on here half naked, God said, render your heart and not your garments. There's a reason for me, how I dress, how I carry myself, how I speak. Because even me speaking like this, using profanity and things like that, it appeals to some people. Because it shows the realness in me. And the realness in me, it sparks an interest when it connects to the realness in someone else who's also interested in seeking God. It's like, oh, I could be a godly person and I don't have to stop swearing. Yeah, as long as you use your words wisely. These words, they express something that regular words just can't. That's why I swear when I swear. When I swear, it is well placed. It's the best word I could find to express the depth of what I'm saying. I'm not saying swear words to be rude. It's a word. It exists for a reason. It's not my fault you don't like to hear it. That's not my problem. If you're going to deny a prophet of God because you don't like the fact that they swear, that's a very limiting existence you're living. It's a trap. If you're going to ignore a prophet or a prophetess of God because of how they dress, if the man come in a hoodie and some rip up jeans, and because of that you claim say he's not actually a prophet of God and you choose not to listen to him, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're judging him by his appearance. If he come to you and he talk like a gangster, he talk like a real shutter, and you choose not to listen to him, that's your business. You putting yourself at a disservice because you're judging him based on how he talk, saying that that can't possibly be a prophet. Who are you to judge who God used to send its messages or deliver its messages? God need people from all walks of life to be able to connect to the people from all walks of life. So when I say what I say, how I say it, people who are free-spirited like me, they resonate with me. And they're not caught up in the profanity that I use or the fact that I have a Caribbean accent. They get the message. You see? So we need to take off all these limits that the world has put on us, all these expectations. Just because somebody drink rum, it don't mean that they're not the prophet. Just because somebody smokes cigarettes, it doesn't mean that God didn't choose them. Just because somebody do drugs, it don't mean that God didn't choose them. That's their own personal issue with the Most High. Did you get the message? Everybody in the world don't look like you, don't talk like you, don't think like you. We don't value what you value. We are who we are and you are who you are. It doesn't mean that we're not prophets. It doesn't mean that we didn't come with a message straight from the divine that you won't get anywhere else. God told it to us for a reason. And it's a test for you, the receiver, as well. Whatever image we come to you in with the message is a test for you, because God said, judge not, lest you be judged. Just because somebody's homeless, it doesn't mean that God didn't choose them to be a prophet or prophetess. We are everywhere. God says he's going to gather us from everywhere that we've been scattered all over the world. And when we start to tell people that we're prophets, you know how people look at us. You know how people want to then torment us because they don't believe. Not everybody who say they're a prophet is actually a prophet, and I get it. But God also said, touch not the Lord's anointed. So when you start messing with people who say they are prophets and you see your life start getting fucked up, that should tell you something. We don't have to look or act how you envision in your mind, because that's your vision that don't have nothing to do with us. All we know is God say that. And I'm telling you what God said. God said in business right now, integrity, you do it. Badness out of style. That shit is over. If you're not going into business with a mind of integrity, you're going to fail. God said that new world order shit that these evil people were plotting, that is already dead. You don't have to believe me, but I've delivered the message. And why am I so special that God would choose me? God chose me because I choose God. It works both ways. I choose to listen to God. I choose to commune with God. I choose to hang out with God. I choose to obey God to the best of my ability. And God chooses to give me these little missions. And I accept. And I execute. God chose me because I choose God. And anybody else, God chose them because they chose God. That's why it don't matter. Have you ever heard like, it's like somebody's on crack cocaine or some kind of serious drug, but when you listen to them speak, it's like two completely different people. Yeah, they do drugs, but listen to what they talk about. Yeah, they drink like a fish, but listen to what they talk about. Yeah, they smoke weed like a chimney, but listen to what they talk about. The spirit. The word is the spirit. It shows you who people are. And then when you match that spirit with their actions, it really shows you who people are. Because some people could talk a good game and then nothing like that. But if they're speaking something that is very valuable, how they act, let them be. Take the gems that they just gave to you through their speech and let God and them deal with their behavior. That don't have nothing to do with you. It doesn't make their message any less true or powerful or valid. The truth is the truth, no matter who's speaking it. No matter what they've done, the truth is still the truth, bruv. To sit down and listen to an assassin talk, they'll shock you with how deep they are spiritually, even though they kill people for a living. Don't get it twisted. Some of the gangsters, you look at these gangsters walking up and down with them pants halfway to their ass, especially in Jamaica. And you want to hear how deep they are when it comes to their spirituality. They're paying attention. But they somehow get caught up in this ugly game. Wild, wild west shit. It's not who they choose to be. Not all of them. It doesn't make them any less of a prophet. They are prophets and they are prophetesses. Some women are walking up and down selling their body as a prostitute. That don't make her less valuable than you. How you know God isn't using her as a prophet because she's a prostitute? You see, judge not. Listen to that prostitute speak. Listen to her as she get real with you. Outside of her profession, who is she? Y'all better know yourselves. Stop looking down on people, bruv. You don't know what God is doing and in whom God is doing it. You only know us by our fruits. You only know us after we act. You only know us after we've spoken. But you want to look at our appearance. Look at the size of our bank account. Look at the teeth in our mouth. You want to look at the color of our hair or the style of our hair. You want to look at the people that we even hang around with. You want to look at the things that we do for a pastime and judge us on these tiny little elements. And then when we do something or say something that is profound, you want to ignore that, like, oh, they smoke weed. Can't listen to anything they say. You fucking idiot. Oh, they drink alcohol. They're talking shit. Says who? Oh, she's a whore from down the way. You can't listen to anything she say. You will perish for lack of knowledge. The whore have the knowledge. So that the Bible, basic instructions before living, not leaving, before living earth, flesh. Basic instructions before living earth. We need to know these things so we can maneuver ourselves throughout the earth in our earthly experience as smoothly as possible. It was a whore that hid some angels back in, I think, Genesis or one of them chapters, where some people were after some angels, and I think that they hid in the house of a prostitute. Prostitution isn't for everybody, but prostitution is for some people. They were meant to be. It's their purpose, believe it or not. You see, when I talk like that, y'all think, look at this heathen, look at this she-devil. No, listen. Prostitution is some people's purpose, male and female. Why? Because God needs people who can relate to certain people, and you have to basically be from the same walk of life for people to take you seriously. If God want to reach other prostitutes, God will be more successful using a prostitute to reach another prostitute on a spiritual level. God is with her. And God is trying to get with the others. So God is going to use her, that prostitute, to get to the other prostitutes. Or God is with him, that male escort that you think is just a slab of meat. He's deep. He's the difference between life and death. Life and death is in the tongue. But y'all want to look at these things and minimize people's value based on these foolish things. And you think you're so smart. You think you're so righteous. You think you're so much better. Learn to respect people. Learn to respect all people so you don't miss your blessing. Because a lot of you miss your blessing because y'all disrespect the wrong people. Because you see them as being beneath you. And yes, I told a lot of people yesterday that I'm better than them because I am. I didn't stutter. And I'm not just talking crap either. I'm talking facts. The truth shall set us free. Those people who I'm better than, they know who I'm talking to. They know I'm talking to them. I'm better than them. I'm more exalted in the kingdom of God than them. I have more rights to this earthly plane than them. This is not the devil's playground anymore. They're on my territory. They're on the children of God's territory. They're on the children of Israel's territory. Is the truth that's reigning in these times. And anybody outside of that, you have been disinherited. The truth is your gateway to your inheritance. The truth is the gateway to your abundance. Only the truth will set us free. Only the truth will exalt us. And that's why it's so hard. A lot of people are afraid to speak the truth. This shit ain't gonna come easy. This life is not for the weak. This walk is not for the faint of heart. You have to have substance, man. And the only way you can have substance is if you have God with you. We are the ones who will be able to endure these times. We are the ones who are going to last. Everybody else gonna fall out and fall back and fall off. Because y'all don't have the protection of God. You don't have the rejuvenation of God. You don't have the wisdom of God. You don't have the favor of God. You're secondary. You're not a premier. Like we, the children of Israel. Not Israel. You're secondary. Because you live lies. You believe lies. My thing just said reconnecting. Yeah, if you're a child of lies, if you're a child of deception, if you're a perpetuator of deception, you are a secondary citizen in the grand scheme of life. God don't want to know you. When you're a seeker and a speaker and an exhibitor, you live truth. You exhibit truth. Yeah, now God like you. God can work with you. God commends you. Because that shit is not easy. We live in a world where they hate the truth and they love the lies. They exalt the lies and they suppress the truth. So for you to be coming with truth and speaking truth and standing tall, come what may, it says something about you. You're not a regular one. Duh. I'm a chosen one. Duh. That's why I have the authority to do what I do, and I don't care what you're going to do to me. This is what my purpose is. My purpose is truth. Seek it, speak it, live it, promote it, perpetuate it, strengthen it. That's what I do. The truth shall set us free. The lies keep us bound in chains. We don't do chains around here. We are royal children, not just in flesh and blood, but by spirit also. See, a lot of y'all are royal only in flesh. When it comes to spirit, y'all falter. Y'all don't stand up when the fire get hot. You run away and you deny God. You deny God. You desert God. You defy God. You know, it's not shit. That's not noble. That's not honorable. That's not respectable. That's called being a sellout. Sell out. That's what that is. You're a sellout. You're the type of person that will be a Judas. You're a Judas. You're a Judas spirit. When the fire get hot, you sell out God. You deny God. You desert God. You go away from God and God's cause. You fight against God and God's cause. That's Judas spirit. It's betrayal. All the while you're a God person until the fire get hot. All of a sudden you switch sides. You're not ready. Anyway, I had fun today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Until next time, my darlings, let's go on and be great. Life is not for the weak. Okay? Life is not for the weak. And the only way we can be strong is if we're strong in God. You do the math. Life is not for the weak. And the only way we can be strong is if we are strong in God. And the earth is mine. It's not the devil's playground anymore. Because I am a child of Israel, not Israel. Nah, 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 nah. Earth is mine. Mine. It's mine, all mine. Mine and my brothers and sisters in Christ. Mine and my brothers and sisters in Christ. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine.